My name is Matilu Mwau. I'm a professor of infectious diseases. I'm a deputy director at the Kenya Medical Research Institute. I'm an infectious disease guy, but I'm a medical doctor. Although what I do now is mainly scientific, is mainly science, mainly research, as opposed to seeing patients. But from 2022, I'll start seeing patients. I'm a creature of the plantations. I'm probably more skilled in picking coffee than in treating diseases, for instance, okay? Because I spent much more time in that area than I've spent practicing medicine, right? So I grew up in central Kenya, where I came in 1975. My mom and my brothers and sisters came and found my father was already working in the plantations, and we joined him. And I did my schooling there, primary school. I actually went to a school called Sianda Primary, but now these days it's called Njangakarume Primary. And then I went to Alliance High School, and then from there I went to University of Nairobi, where I did medicine, and then from there I went to University of Oxford, where I did clinical medicine immunology, and then a PhD in the field. And then when I came to Kenya to work at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, I realized that the skills I had were too much, so I was finding it difficult to interact with the people to solve ordinary problems. So I went back to school and did a master's degree when I already had a PhD in tropical medicine and infectious diseases in Nagasaki University in Japan. Okay, so I think when I was small, my colleagues are very clear in their minds what they wanted to become when they were small. Even my wife tells me that she wanted to become a doctor. Okay, that was not the case for myself. When I was small, I wanted to not be hungry, for instance. I thought that was a bad idea and dangerous as well. And one of my strongest childhood memories is hunger. And my father used to tell us that education deals with poverty, disease, hunger, and some other thing. There's another thing he used to say. I forget now, okay? And then the other thing that made me pursue education when I was small is that my father told us, you see those aeroplanes that pass up there, the guys who are in those planes are educated people. And if you get educated, you'll take a plane, you'll take a flight. I used to be very curious about that, okay? And then when we were in high school, you chose careers depending on your academic prowess or abilities, okay? And then the careers that required an A were, the careers that required an A were like medicine, or like electrical engineering, or like electrical engineering, or like architecture required an A. And then just below that, you could do law, building economics, etc. And I thought medicine was interesting, but I also thought electrical engineering was interesting, and was equally strong in the subjects. In the arts and in the sciences, I was equally strong. So I just said, let me become a doctor. I think I started liking medicine when I was around the 4th year in medical school, is when it started making sense to me. Because in the University of Nairobi, the medicine was not problem-based learning. Medicine was academic. It was lectures, and you have to remember stuff and reproduce that kind of stuff on paper. But in 4th year onwards, it was more or less problem-based. And in other words, you saw patients and you started thinking, what could this person have? You are given a patient. Now that is interesting, because that is, you ask the real questions. And by 6th year, I realized that in fact, I had done the right thing. I really wanted to become a doctor. And then I went and did internship in Kenyatta, KNH. That was a time when HIV was a big deal. The hospital was overwhelmed with the HIV. Around 1999 there, I was doing an internship. So what happened is after doing internship for around some months, I realized that I had now gotten to a point where I could predict by just looking at the patient. When they're just getting in like so, I could predict what that patient's problem is before they said their name. Then I told myself, I think this is going to be an issue. I don't see how I'm going to spend years doing a repetitive action, a repetitive action. I need to use my head in a different way. So I decided to apply to the University of Oxford and see whether I could be taken to do a to become a postgraduate student. Okay? And so I applied, I got a scholarship. And then after internship, immediately after, that's on 1st January 2000, I was in England on my way to Oxford to do a degree. And by 2000 and by 2002, at the end, I was almost done. In fact, I left England in 2003, having finished my PhD, and came to work for the Wellcome Trust in Kilifi, where I worked for 9 months as a clinical research fellow, 10 months actually, as a clinical research fellow. But the main job there was pediatrics. So we are seeing children, both for clinical purposes and for research purposes, okay? But then at the end of the 10 months, I left the job and I went and started my own private clinic in a place called Madaraka in Nairobi. And I saw patients there for some months. During that time I was seeing patients, I went to defend my PhD. And then I came back and I continued working in the clinic. But then there was another guy who kept on bothering me that I should actually work for Kemri. He did not see how a person with a PhD should be seeing patients who are just coughing. And he kept on bothering me. He's called Dr. Ifantans Jagi, he's a doctor. And he'd come and sit with me and tell me, you, what's wrong with you? You're wasting your life. I wasn't wasting my life, actually, to be honest. But, you know, and then eventually he managed to convince me to go to Kemri to visit somebody who was called Dr. Solomon Mpoke. And so after harassment, I went to Kemri just to get Dr. Njagi off my back. So when I went, I found Dr. Solomon Mpoke, and he had a secretary called Priscilla Ruiri. I remember that day, because I just came and said, Dr. Mpoke, I've been sent to you by Njagi, and you know, to come and see you. Ah, so you are Matilu Mwau. How are you? You know, what are you doing in Madaraka and so on? Huh? I said, I'm seeing patients. I'm busy. Why have you not come to see me? I said, I'm very busy. So he said, no. He told me that you have a PhD from Oxford. I said, yes, I do. And you are working in Madaraka? I said, yes, I am. Then he said, no, you should work for Kemri. I said, I don't have that kind of time. I have to see patients. So he told Priscilla, his secretary, please type the application. So Priscilla typed it. That was done. And then I signed it. But I forgot to send him the CV. So one day I was at where Galleria is now. I don't think there was a Galleria at that time. I can't remember. But then I was called by Kemri and told, you're supposed to be in an interview here. And I had no clue. I didn't have a tie. I didn't have anything. I had no clue. Maybe they sent a letter to me and I didn't see it. So I went for the interview. I know that my file did not have documentation, but they asked me very interesting questions in the panel. And they gave me a job in 2004 in June. So after some time, I decided I better do a tropical medicine degree so that we speak the same language, okay? Then I went to Japan, to Nagasaki University, where I did a tropical medicine degree. So I started, I had already started some research work in Kemri in HIV, but when I came back is when I began to get involved in arthropod-borne viruses, in malaria, tuberculosis, in hepatitis, and all other infections, okay? I have a family. We have things we do, we have hobbies. One of the things that we like doing is that we are outdoors people. So we are the hiking type, we are the jogging type, and we are the driving into the remote parts of Kenya type, okay? We have significant stories about adventures we've had in the bush, including leaving our car and walking for 18 kilometers to look for help in the middle of a jungle with wild animals, okay? So we are the outdoors people. We have a motorbike that we sometimes ride, and we can ride even to Namanga or to some place, and it's nice, it's very nice, yeah. So then we are martial arts people in this family. We are taekwondo people. So we like fighting, but not in the streets. We like fighting in the gym. We even have our own gym, actually, where other people can also come and do their thing, but we put it up specifically for us people to do our martial arts thing. Like myself, I've been in taekwondo from 87. That's around 33 years. Yeah, so I've done taekwondo for 33 years. Okay? So what else do we do? we are farmers, so we farm. We spend a lot of our time going to our various farms in Kapsabet, in Makueni, in Busia, in everywhere. We have things that are happening all over the place. So you may find us on the road quite a bit of time, or carrying things in our truck. We have a truck where we carry maize, we carry stuff like that. Okay, we keep chicken, and the chicken require attention. They are sensitive animals. And if you don't pay attention for 2 days, they die. Like if you don't change the dressing down there, they'll die, or the sawdust, they'll die. Okay, and we sell eggs and we sell chicken. Okay, and then we are scientists, so quite often we like to make science work for us. So you may find that wherever we are trying to put up a solar system. Like here at home, we use solar. We don't use mains electricity. We use solar for everything, for pumping water, for cooking, for everything. If you're at home, if you come and find us at home, because we have children, you may find we have a blackboard actually. It's a very interesting board, and it has a lot of history. This board has graduated. There is one guy who has gone to university from this board. And there's a guy who will go to university, he's in Form 4 now, who, if he hadn't come to this board, he wouldn't go. But I think he would just be below university material. He's a smart guy, but didn't have good grounding. This board is what has given him grounding. This board has taken 2 people to Alliance High School. One is there now, but one is already in Jomo Kenyatta. And this board has taken 2 girls to Lugulu Girls. Okay? This is where the action is. So usually what happens is that when they go to school, they are in a class of many. There's nothing special about them. The teacher has to deal with many students at once. If a student does not grasp concepts, the teacher doesn't have that kind of time to deal with that particular student. So they come here, and because I'm the one doing the paying of the fees, I want to see return on investment. So I say, show me your report form. So then they show me mathematics or physics or chemistry or biology or something, history. Then I look at the mark and I feel pained. So I feel that I've lost my money. So what I say is, okay, I'm going to be here on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to deal with this problem. I want you to bring those question papers. So I look at the question papers and I find calculus, or I find trigonometry, or permutations and combinations, or probabilities, or vectors, things that students find very difficult, but things that we were really good at when we were in high school. And then I put the problem down here and I solve it. And I solve it with the person. How would I describe my wife? Intelligent, very. Calm and tolerant. It's very hard to live with a guy like myself. Okay, I think so. Because when I look at myself, I find it hard to live with myself. Yeah. We met when we were students. Around 25 years, maybe 24. I exaggerate, almost 25 years ago, actually.
My name is Mary Nziani. I'm a pediatrician primarily, but now in the research space. I'm a clinical research scientist at Kenya Medical Research Institute with the interest in infectious diseases and non-communicable diseases, with a bias at least towards pediatrics and children. I came to Limuru Girls High School, though I was not called there, but somehow my name landed there. They selected Loreto Limuru because I didn't even know Limuru Girls existed. But that's where I landed. I liked it, and I did well as well. And landed in University of Nairobi. Actually, I had been called to Moi, but somehow things didn't work out. I didn't get my final letter. So I reported when the class had already started, so they transferred me to University of Nairobi. Maybe that was one of the best mistakes that fate made for me, because if I hadn't come to University of Nairobi, maybe I wouldn't be here. We would not have met. Yeah. So at University of Nairobi, I got interested in pediatrics. So when I finished the primary degree, I specialized in pediatrics after working in several areas. And first of all, when I finished internship, that's when he had gone to to UK to do his PhD. So I finished internship and joined him in UK for 1 year. By then, our first guy was born. He was still small. So I had to survive 1 year in UK, which is very difficult when you have a child. It was chaos. So, but we managed. Then when we finished, we came back. At that point, we were also offered jobs in Kilifi, in Wellcome Trust. And that was also good for me because of my interest in pediatrics, and the way he had said it was primarily pediatrics research. When I was midway, I got a scholarship to do tropical medicine in Nagasaki University as well. So, and that's the point at which I got a good interaction with the research. I had been interested in research, but it didn't look like an open space, especially for doctors. Our society is patriarchal. So the expectations are always, it does not matter. Even if you are the president of Kenya, it wouldn't matter if you are the president and you are a wife. The traditional role as a wife are still there. You still have to pursue them together with me. So I guess you have to work a bit harder and a bit be more resilient to be able to make it on both sides. On the most part, as you said, we are outdoors people. I like the outdoors. The main thing I like doing, which has just been put on hold by coronavirus situation, is hiking. Just being out there in the nature is good, and keeping moving. Normally, we don't even plan. We wake up on a weekend, this weekend there isn't much we are doing, let's go. So we woke up, we said, let's go. Let's get into the car and let's go. This young girl we've seen around here was 9 months old at the time. So that day, for some reason, I carried a kanga, a leso, and I normally didn't do that. And that's the only out of the ordinary thing I carried. Because normally if we want to go on road trips, we prepare, you carry food, you carry water, jembe, jiko. But that day we just woke up and said, okay, we've been wanting to see Nkuruman and we've never managed to get there. Let's go. And he was unwell. So we got into the car and left. So we drove and drove and drove, and we got to Lake Natural. So we decided, when you go to the lake, we found some puddle of water, and we decided, oh, this one doesn't look so nice. This is too much water. Let's try this dry spot. So we just drove, and then we just got to a point, and the car sank, and that was that. So we decided what we need to do is just walk the way we came and see where it will lead us. And it was already 4 o'clock by then. It was around 4 o'clock, I think, by that time. So we started walking. Tied the child on the back with the lasso, and we started walking. Started getting dark, we're just walking. We are driven onto the bed of the lake and we didn't know. So even now, getting to the bank of the lake was kilometers. So we walked. At some point, we got some paw prints and some hoof prints. We thought they were goats and a dog. And we decided, okay, these streets leading this way, maybe these are Maasais with their goats. So and then we decided, no, let's just stick to the tire tracks that we came with. So we stuck onto that. And when we finally got help, we were told that that's the best decision you ever made, because those were lion prints and deer, gazelle prints.
From around 2030 or 2025, around there, you might find us in a cruise ship going around the world and stuff like that, okay? But not now. Now we are engaged in adventures that are very interesting, like COVID. So, but when this goes and things calm down, then we are going to spend a bit of our time on other things.